forms of life are affected by certain natural factors. These factors form physical environment. The four factors of physical environment we'll consider are altitude and atmospheric conditions, heat and light, water, and soil conditions. These factors influence any plant-animal community or biome. The biome changes as the physical environment changes. In some regions, there is an abundance of water. In others, there may be little water. In some regions, rich soil supports abundant plant life. In others, poor soil supports much less plant life. Of the many biomes, we'll examine those of a deciduous forest, a coniferous mountain forest, a grassland, and a desert in relation to these factors of physical environment: altitude and atmospheric conditions, heat and light, water, and soil conditions. We'll begin with the deciduous forest. Deciduous forests are common where the physical environment includes soil classified as heavy loam. Heavy loam is rich in essential chemicals and organic materials. Another factor of physical environment favorable to deciduous forests is a moderate altitude, approximately 1,000 to 2,500 feet above sea level, depending on geographic location. At this altitude, atmospheric conditions are generally such that there is abundant rainfall during most of the year. These physical conditions produce trees such as beech, maple, hickory, and oak. These trees need sufficient water in order to thrive because of their relatively shallow root systems and because of their large overall leaf surface, which results in rapid evaporation of water. In some parts of the forest, thickly growing leaves cut down the amount of sunlight and heat reaching the forest floor. Thus, areas of the forest floor are shady, cool, and moist. This type of physical environment is suitable for several species of plants. Mosses are among the many smaller plants that thrive on the deciduous forest floor. Others are ferns, and, where there is least heat and light, mushrooms and other fungi. Many species of small animals, such as millipedes, live on the deciduous forest floor. These are among the hundreds of species of arthropods found in this environment. Other arthropods are beetles and moths. Vertebrates are also found on the deciduous forest floor. Among the most common are the box turtle, the salamander, and the raccoon. Above the forest floor, where there is more heat and light, are a variety of tree-dwelling vertebrates, such as the squirrel, and many different species of birds, such as the red-shouldered hawk. Thus, the animal and plant population of the deciduous forest is influenced by low to medium altitude, variable heat and light, abundant rainfall, and heavy loam soil. Now let's consider another biome, the coniferous mountain forest. On a mountain slope, there are several biomes. The physical factor of altitude greatly influences these biomes. This coniferous forest biome is at an altitude of 5,000 to 10,000 feet. The trees of this biome are of the fir and spruce families. The average rainfall over the years is less than that of lower altitudes. The soil is classified as rocky. Rocky soil is fairly shallow and rich in minerals. These physical factors are especially suited to the growth of coniferous trees, whose narrow leaves tend to reduce evaporation of needed moisture. Another way coniferous trees gain needed moisture is through their strong, well-developed roots, which push down through the rocky soil to reach moisture. In open areas of the coniferous forest floor are found certain species of grass and other plants which can subsist on light rainfall. The plant population of the coniferous mountain forest provides an adequate food supply for elk and other grazing animals which are adapted to the cool, dry climate of this physical environment. These herbivores are preyed upon by bobcats and other carnivores that are the members of the plant animal community of the coniferous forest. The physical environment that affects this biome includes high altitude and cool climate, moderate amounts of heat and sunlight, moderate rainfall, rocky soil. Let's see how these factors differ in our third biome, a grassland. This grassland region is in the western United States and is situated at a moderate altitude, about 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Other environmental factors of this grassland are a temperate climate and light rainfall, and a light soil, adequate in essential chemicals. But probably the most important of the environmental factors here is abundant light. Grasses thrive best where there is plenty of light and moderate rainfall. In this flat, bright, relatively dry environment live animals such as the antelope, which are adapted to running across the flat land. Animals with other adaptations for protection are the prairie dog, which can burrow under the ground for safety, and the harvest mouse, which is camouflaged by its protective coloration. These adaptations are protection against such sharp-eyed, fleet-winged predators of the community as the marsh hawk. The physical environment of a grassland biome includes moderate altitude and temperate climate, abundant amounts of heat and light, a light rainfall, and light soil. The more abundant plant life of the grassland biome contrasts with the sparse plant life of the desert. In the United States, desert biomes tend to be produced in those regions where there are the physical factors of low altitudes and extremes of heat and light. Other factors of environment include atmospheric conditions which produce a very light rainfall. The soil, classified as extremely shallow, has been produced mainly by erosion. The shallow soil of the desert lacks some essential chemicals and does not retain much water. This environment gives rise to cactus and other plants with deep root systems. In this exhibit, we can see the roots of a cactus plant. Sometimes these roots extend 20 or 30 feet to obtain water and essential chemicals. Water, so scarce in this environment, is consumed by plants which have extremely small leaves, sometimes no more than spines, to reduce leaf or evaporation surface. The desert biome also includes many forms of animal life adapted to hot, dry surroundings. There are numerous reptiles, such as the desert tortoise and the Gila monster, which have dry skins that conserve moisture. Some desert mammals, such as the kangaroo rat, obtain water from seeds and other parts of plants. To find protection from the extreme heat, most desert animals, such as the kit fox, remain in their cool, dark dens underground. This is another protective adaptation against the high daylight temperatures of the desert environment. The population of the desert biome, then, is adapted in terms of physical environment to low altitude and arid climate, excessive heat and light, extremely light rainfall, and shallow soil. In each of the 4 biomes we have examined, the deciduous forest, the coniferous mountain slope forest, the grassland, and the desert, we have seen that physical environment influences the infinite forms of life, both plant and animal, and provides these living things with the substances necessary to sustain life.